और हिमालय के बारे में दो चीज़ें हैं। एक तो ये बहुत खूबसूरत एक जियोलॉजिकल स्ट्रक्चर है जो कि आपकी सतह से बाहर निकल आ रहा है, उसके कारण है। और एक जो बहुत कॉम्प्लेक्स बात है कि हिमालय को समझ पाना बड़ा विचित्र है। बहुत से इसमें प्रश्न हैं। क्योंकि मैं विज्ञान की विचारधारा से आता हूं तो मेरे प्रश्न ज़्यादातर विज्ञान के उससे हैं। जैसे अभी ब्रिज सर ने कहा कि स्ट्रीम, सरफेस वाटर, ग्राउंड वाटर। सो हम लोग एक उत्तराखंड अपर गंगा बेसिन पे एक प्रोजेक्ट कर रहे हैं। काफ़ी बड़ा प्रोजेक्ट है, काफ़ी उसमें 12 लोग इंस्टीट्यूट इन्वॉल्व हैं। उसमें हम केवल सरफेस और ग्राउंड वाटर की ही बात नहीं कर रहे हैं, हम टोटल टेरेस्ट्रियल वाटर स्टोरेज की बात कर रहे हैं। बेसिकली आपका पानी एटमॉस्फेयर में है, वाटर वेपर में है, या लिक्विड वाटर बन जाता है, बारिश बन जाता है, या वेपर रहता है, वो अलग रहता है। लेकिन जो टोटल क्यूमुलेटिव वाटर स्टोरेज इन एटमॉस्फेयर प्लस द ग्राउंड वाटर, आपका टोटल वाटर कितना लोड है, उस पर हम इस प्रोजेक्ट को अपर गंगा बेसिन के ऊपर कर रहे हैं। और एक अच्छी बात यह है जो हमने देखी है, आने वाले सदी में 2100 तक हमने काम किया। आने वाले सदी में 2100 तक अच्छी चीज़ है जो हमने पा रहे हैं वो भविष्य में जो मानसून है, मानसून जो है वो वेस्टवर्ड शिफ्ट कर रहा है। अगर आप भारत का मानचित्र देखें और आपको मानसून का मार्च अगर पता है कैसे वो साउथ से नॉर्थ की तरफ जाता है, तो भारत मानसून का जो फ्लो है वो वेस्टवर्ड शिफ्ट हो रहा है। और उस पश्चिम दिशा की तरफ शिफ्ट होने के कारण भविष्य में सेंट्रल हिमालय, वेस्टर्न हिमालय में ज़्यादा मानसून की बारिश होगी और नॉर्थ ईस्ट में कम होगी। वही एक कारण भी है कि नॉर्थ ईस्ट में आपका दार्जिलिंग से मैक्सिमम प्रेसिपिटेशन जोन इज शिफ्टेड टू मोसिनराम। तो मैं बहुत डायनेमिक्स में जाके नहीं, मैं एक बहुत सामान्य तौर से बात रखने की प्रयास करूँगा और आप लोग मुझे रोकें। बहुत सारी स्टडीज़ हुई हैं, हिमालय को समझना बहुत ज़रूरी है। 50 मिलियन साल पहले, बिफोर 1500 मिलियन ईयर्स, व्हेन दीज टू प्लेट टेक्टोनिक्स converse with each other, Himalaya start becoming. That time there was no monsoon because the monsoonal flow was flying flat over towards China. There was no rain in the summertime, right? And hence Himalaya kept coming in, fighting two plates, and hence we have the Himalaya in different ranges, Jaskar, Ladakh range. Plus be reminded where we are sitting, it's not a tectonic mountain, Sivalik. Sivalik is primarily a sedimentation mountain because 50 million years when these two plates hit each other, Himalaya came and it start stopping the northward propagating atmospheric flow. And hence 15 million years before the monsoon started coming, because now flow cannot cross across the Himalaya. So monsoon came into the existence, and because when monsoon came into the existence, it impinged on the Himalaya, and because of physical weathering, lot of sedimentation has started coming, and hence the Sivalik is the sedimentation mountain. So it's not tectonic mountain, right? Many geologists will explain this better. So there are various issues which has come up. One important issue which in the recent dynamics which we are working in the elevation dependent warming, which is very concurrent. In elevation dependent warming, what I mean, Dehradun warming rate will be less than warming rate at the higher up Himalaya in Badrinath or Mana or higher up Himalaya. So upper atmosphere, upper elevation is warming rate is not warming, I am telling warming rate. Warming rate is faster than the lower foothill of Himalayas. So what will happen? It will impact the vertical atmospheric column, because upper atmosphere by virtue of being colder, it will become more stable, whereas the lower atmospheric column. So I'll touch upon something. This is the beautiful Himalayan massif. If you look at the precipitation here, if you look at this orography, we have flat cross sections here. We are monitoring at many places in Ladakh Himalaya. We are monitoring in northeast Himalaya. So this is the topography of the Himalaya. If you look at this study region here, I chosen this, the Himalayan study region. That's where I work more. And based on that, if there are various studies from the past we have collated in this report and another HKH report, what is the study has been done by various people. Its warming is taking place. Himalaya is the very vulnerable to recent climate change. It responds to very faster, and simultaneously it has a land use, land cover, forest, glacier, snow cover, desert, cold desert, and various surfaces which thus impact in a very, very different manner. right? So Himalaya becomes a very important region, and sir has told about the uncertainty, and here is the best example of uncertainty. If you look at these three precipitation climatology of last 30 years, we have Aphrodite from Japan, GPCC from Germany, and Crew from England. They have produced a synthetic precipitation distribution over the Himalaya, and you find that all three are telling very, very different pictures. So there are very different uncertainty. Now the issue is, which precipitation data? When I started beginning to my study, I was discouraged by various good people from like DR Sikka. He led DR Sikka. Many, why you are working? You are a good boy. There is no data. Stop working. But now the point is, if there is no data, how can we stop working? So Himalaya has these very beautiful questions here. And when you look at the last, this left panel, you will find that these are the elevation, 500, I don't know, Dehradun is how much elevation in meters. So Dehradun will be somewhere here, and I am going up to the 5,000 meters along this here. And what we find that, particularly if you look at the mid-elevation point here, middle elevation, your precipitation is more scattered, it's more uncertain, whereas the lower foothill of Himalaya, upper foothill of Himalaya are having more distinctly different distribution of precipitation over the Himalaya. And particularly when you look 30 years of trend, precipitation trend is decreasing here. What I mean that lower elevation region in the Himalaya will receive lesser amount of precipitation, whereas upper elevation will receive more amount of precipitation. Why upper will receive more amount of precipitation? As I told, warming rate is changing. So the precipitation forming mechanism is more intense in the upper elevation than the lower elevation, because mechanism needs heat, dynamical heat, and the warming rate is providing that dynamical heat. And then because, by virtue of that uncertainty, we led the Codex South Asian program. I'm leading the South Asian dynamic program. World across, they have different programs. In that, we did the regional climate model, we call it, because we want to have data. So we generated data over these regions. And by virtue of this model data, with certain uncertainty, we are trying to define the processes, atmospheric processes, as well as surface processes here. So if you look at that, elevation dependent, particularly you look at the monsoon mean in this case, if this figure, I am adding up all 120 days monsoon mean, June, July, August, September monsoon mean I am adding, and I am finding that if you look at these plots, you find the green color is having higher amount of precipitation, and brown color is having lower amount of precipitation, and green color corresponds to the more precipitation. That's what I was telling you, that these regions will receive more precipitation while foothill will be drying up. So foothill, why it will be drying up? Because the air parcel which is trying to ride over the orography, the precipitation forming mechanism is no more getting initiated in the lower elevation. It's most probably will get initiated by the mid elevation, and hence you will have more amount of precipitation. And if you look at the northeast, you have a brown color here. So brown color will have deficit amount of precipitation in the future time because of the monsoonal dynamics. And if you look at these graphs, particularly this scatter plot, I want to say model and observation. All of you must have heard of the cloud burst. Nowhere in the meteorological cloud burst is defined. Very oftenly people say more amount of water coming in less amount of time over a very smaller region. If I pour a glass of water in a fraction of a second, will it be cloudburst? Nobody can answer. So we did cloudburst study, and I took two examples of cloudburst. One occurred in Ukhimat in 2012, I think, and one I did for Ladakh region. And we provided what is the cloudburst, because these models are unable to capture high precipitation amount. So model cannot, so until and unless we do not know the dynamics of these precipitation mechanism, flood mechanism, precipitation mechanism, even if you are planning to work for society, you cannot. Firstly, you have to understand the system first. Then only you can help society, right? So otherwise it will remain on a very qualitative manner. You will plan something and it will keep going like that. So cloudburst we did, and if you look at the temperature, upper regions are becoming bit warmer, colder here, blue color if you see in the various seasons. I am cutting different season because we have a seasonality. All year it's not same. So we have cut in the seasonality and we find different season have different kind of temperature amount in higher elevation and lower elevation. And we did various statistical analysis because that's very important, that how good is our mathematical equation representing the actual environment in the modeling environment. Oh. So let me have these few slides, maybe 2 more minutes, right? So if you look, this is, I think, most interesting near future 2020-2049 average based on the mathematical simulation of model. We find that Northeast Himalayan region is a brown color and Central Himalaya and Western Himalaya is the green color. Based on that Central and Western Himalayan region, we conclude that you have Northeast will be deprived of less amount of precipitation due to the Indian summer monsoon. When I say Indian summer monsoon, I say 1st June to 31st of September, okay? I am not talking of the pre-winter or winter monsoon. Whereas the Central Himalaya and the Western Himalaya, you have a green color, you will have more amount of precipitation over these regions. And then we did the RCP, you people must be talking of the anthropogenic forcing, right? Very oftenly it is called within the IPCC debate. And we find that worst pessimistic scenario where everybody is emitting everything. Worst scenario, what will be the elevation dependent change? And we find that upper elevation, lower deviation will be and the higher precipitation and higher temperature, because precipitation and temperature are two things. It's kind of husband and wife, you cannot divorce them. They have a very strong connection of the moisture and temperature interplay, and this interplay over the Himalayan region is more pronounced. If temperature goes down, moisture will become water, liquid water. If temperature rises, it will become evaporation. That's what more cloud mechanism is happening over these regions. And this is the rate of monsoon temperature over this region. It is increasing everywhere. Winter, this DJF, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, these everywhere this is rising. And we have various models here which is telling upper elevation is getting warmer. We try to give mechanism why it's happening with cloud fraction, long wave radiation. I am not going in this Karakoram anomaly, I will not go. I only want to show you one slide I have for Uttarakhand region. I hope it's there because time is up. So, yeah, this is the Uttarakhand region if I am not wrong. This one, yeah, here is the Ganga Basin work we are doing. So maybe it's because most of the 80% community is from Uttarakhand. What we are trying in Upper Ganga Basin, we are taking total terrestrial water storage right from top of the atmosphere to the beneath of the surface. What is the total atmosphere? And we try to look at, and here comes the role of spring, because spring, as sir has rightly said, that not very well documented, not very well understood, because stream is not an isolated entity. It has a coupled manner with the subsurface, undersurface and groundwater, and simultaneously atmospheric water in the frame of precipitation, because that's what recharges the aquifer down below, right? So you have to have a very strong non-linear coupling for spring to understand. That's what we are working over the basin. I think I should stop here, otherwise sir will not allow me to talk. However, I'll show you one last slide in the upper Indus Basin which we are working, that we have higher total precipitation water storage. The upper, this is Indus Basin, this is the Indian part, this is the Pakistan part. We will have more amount of water storage in the upper riparian of the Indus Basin in the future 2100. Thank you very much. Yes.